but for you to play, but for you to play a role within 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 the organization, and that role is basically inspiring people, galvanizing people, bringing them together, and inspiring them to act in a way that would help foster the desired goals of the organization. The third thing about leadership that I'm going to share with you, then I'll take your questions, is that leadership is not absolute, it's rather complementary. Usually, we are very passionate people and we want to solve the problem. I started this organization. I have to figure it out. I discovered this problem. I have to be the one to figure it out, or I have to do it alone. I have to single-handedly work things out. It is not true. Leadership is about systems and thinking about what your role is within that system. Leadership is focusing on your own area of strength while identifying other people's areas of strength and putting them to work. So, in all of this, you can't tell who the leader is from the picture you can see on your hand, because you don't have all the skills, you don't have everything. So your your ability to lead is in making people work and understanding your own limitations and knowing where people come in. We had a meeting with President Obama, and one of my colleagues asked a question that what are the highest or the best leadership skills that he would recommend that young people adopt, or what should we focus on learning? And his answer was very interesting. He said, um, I won't ask you to be a better speaker or know how to write well, because for me, that I'm a good speaker and I write well, it took years of practice, and maybe because of the kind of profession that I led. He was a lawyer and all of those things. But from his experience, he said the most important leadership skills or leadership lesson that you would suggest we have is the ability to understand, to identify talent, discover talent, and knowing how to put them to work. Like knowing that, oh, this my friend can do this thing, that my friend can do that thing, and being able to galvanize and bring all of those different levels of expertise together to work together to achieve a goal. That is leadership. I'm emphasizing this because a lot of people build organizations that literally wants to do everything. So your organization is not meant to be jack of all trade. Your organization should have a niche. Your organization should be focused on what you've been set out to do. And because leadership is complementary, that is why you can partner or collaborate with other people or other organizations and then leverage that relationship to make your work even more robust. So, like for instance, at Zozo Networks some years back, we found a gap, and that gap is that some of the teenagers that we're teaching we're providing leadership and entrepreneurship training for are not doing well in school. And we thought of it that it does not make sense to want to make a leader that is failing in school. That it's important we first fix their academic issues, then we can continue to help them to develop leadership skills. We started an extramural class kind of thing, and students were coming. But we realized that that was derailing us from our mission. So what we did was to look for an organization that does that specifically, and that is their mission. Then we partnered with that organization. Then we made our students go through them first before coming to us. So that's like an example of you not doing everything, you just selecting a small space and allowing other people to come into that space to join you in doing the work. The same also goes for your organization. You don't necessarily have to be the sole founder of your organization. Getting a co-founder makes life easier. In my own experience, I started Zozo Networks without a co-founder. So just with a couple of friends, but I still had that sole responsibility. But at Impact Toolbox, I started with a co-founder, and oh my God, my life was easier. In fact, I could breathe, I could think, and my co-founder brought in our own network as well, and the organization is more global, more far-reaching. Um, has probably done a whole lot within the short period of time. So you will move faster if you actually go with people. Contrary to the idea of if you go alone, you will go faster. You actually move faster when you go with people. So it's important that you understand your limitations and you begin to look around you to find answers, to find solutions, to listen to people around you and find how their skills complement yours and how you can engage them in the work that you are doing. We'll take a break for questions shortly, but I want us to start our interaction today by reading through this poem. I love poems a lot, and this Lao Tzu one is like one of my one that I actually really like. So I want us to read through this poem. I'll give you guys 2 minutes and we'll start our interaction by you telling me what you think the poem is about and what is most significant for you in this poem. So you have 2 minutes to look through the poem. Okay, we are back. So who wants to go first? What's most significant for you concerning this poem?
Hello,
Hi, Janet. Go
evening
ahead.
everyone.
Good evening.
So I think for me the most important thing for me I got from this poem is that the leader doesn't necessarily have to be pinpointed from the crowd. He's first and foremost a team player. That's one thing I think I got very clearly there. And a leader should be a friend that his fellow teammates confide in, not necessarily fear or despise. That's what I think I got from the poem. Thank you.
That Thank you. That's actually very
Hello.
Yeah, Maxine, go ahead.
Yeah, what I've learned is a leader, you have to lead people, and the people must adhere to your vision. So you may have a vision, but you have to try to work very hard to make sure your team also believe in your vision. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm, Um, I saw Patrick's hand first.
Can you go
Sorry,
again?
sorry, I'll call you after Patrick. Patrick
Okay.
Odunzelu. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the most important thing I got from the poem is from the first line that says the best leaders are those that people hardly know exist. It's just like what someone said earlier. It's about working with a team, and being a leader is not about showing yourself, but being in a place where yes, you influence people and you inspire them to take actions, but at the end, it's about the collective work everyone brings together. So most times people see the notion of leadership or as something that you get to do everything yourself, and at the end your people clap for you. So leadership should be a place where we stand and influence people to achieve a task or a vision. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Patrick. In fact, leadership is giving power to people. Your ability to empower the people around you to lead. That is the that is the ultimate mark of leadership, giving power to people. And also it helps to make your organization sustainable. When we talk a bit about organizational planning and structuring, it's part of the things that we're going to talk about. And that's like towards the end of the fellowship. You need to trust people and you need to empower them to do things that even they themselves don't think and believe enough they can do. And then that's where you begin to see that you will be more restful as a leader. As a social entrepreneur, one of the hardest things to be able to do is to rest. But as you empower people, you have more time to be able to rest. Your mind will be at rest enough to conceive new ideas and to lead the implementation. So always focus on trying to not do it alone, but empowering people, which also comes with teaching them what to do, trusting them to give them stuff to do. But when they come back and they've not done it well, feel free to teach them and also test them out again and let them know where they need to improve in, then test them out again. That's how to empower people. Um, Inform, then I will call Samson after.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, as a leader, just like my colleague said, it should be a teamwork. You should carry your team along, and at the end of the day, when a task is accomplished, you should be able to give glory to everyone. You should not take the glory all by yourself. So it should be able, we have been able to achieve this, not I have been able to achieve it. So the glory should go to everyone, not just you alone. Thank you.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So as you're getting all of these fellowship opportunities, you should be preparing your team so that they can also get similar opportunities as well. As you're as you grow, it is important that you lift others and also your entire team should have a collective share in that success. They should also be able to report it as their success as well. Something.
Thank you very much. In addition to what every other person have shared, another thing that I actually got is in line 5, which concerns the use of words. So is actually a pointer to the point that as leaders we should be cautious of what we say, because of course our words are supposed to carry weight, and then we are not supposed to say too much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And as leaders, if someone has said what you want to say, then you can go ahead and say something else, or you can remove your hand. Samson, thank you so much for that. That's actually a very good point to have recognized. Um, Leaders are very cautious of what they say, and they are very, very, very cautious. They under promise and over deliver. Samuel Jackson.
Hi, Doctor. Thank you so much. I think I like that best, that part of the best leaders are those that people hardly know they exist. I think as a leader, if you're concerned about the people you're trying to win over, if you value their needs, their dreams, and they know it, they will reciprocate. I think it's one of the things that has been driving for me. There, you can now have a team work where there's no bureaucracy. You don't just even know who the leader is or who is heading. You just see this team bonding and everything is going well. But that works more if the people you're leading are able to communicate freely with you. They're able to speak their minds more openly, and you have the ability to listen.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Samuel. That's very true. One of the best times, one of the best times in my work was one day I got the message from someone I really respect a lot in the development space, and was like, "Oh, my organization went to a school in Abuja today to do an event, and the the teacher said, oh, they know Zozo Networks, that Zozo Networks does very well in this kind of area, and they shared all their testimonies. And it was like, oh, I know the person that started Zozo Networks. His name is Shegun Fatidem. Do you know him? They were like, no, they don't even that. They've not heard that name before. That they don't know the person, but at least they know Zozo Networks. And the guy was like, it was coming from another angle, and all that. How come people know your organization and don't know you? But for me, that was like a very precious moment because I felt, yes, I'm doing what I should be doing. Yeah, it's better you know the organization and know me. In fact, I wish nobody even knows me in the first place. I just want to be that guy that is walking on that ground and helping other people to push everything forward. So personally, I think I really resonate with the points that Samuel made. Andrew,
Yes, I've also seen that if you are a leader, you should involve the members, especially on decision making, because at the end of it all, if you don't involve the other members, they will leave everything for you. That's what I've
true.
seen from this
Yes,
poem. Yes.
that's actually a very good point. That's true. I remember when we were running with volunteers and in some of the very early days, you see, the problem is that most of very passionate leaders are the least productive ones because we want to do everything all by ourselves. So in those early days, I was very passionate about the work that if I say that we are meeting this deadline tomorrow, we have to meet that deadline tomorrow. So if the people I've assigned the work to, they are not going to meet it by tomorrow, I'm going to go and do it by myself. Or if they did not do it to the level of expertise or excellence that I wanted, I'll go and do it by myself. So people got tired that what's the essence of you asking me to do something when you're still going to go and do it by yourself? And this is the problem with a lot of passionate leaders. The more passionate you are, the less productive you get. Now, I'm not saying you should not be passionate, but you should try and um, understand what your passion causes for others. Being passionate, super passionate, or about a project also means that you will always be showing up to lead. You will always be showing up in front. You will always want your ideas to to be the ultimate idea. Those things are good, but you have to just put it in moderation and understand that other people have skills and other people are stakeholders and they should have as much say as you have. The last two people, Christopher and Brenda, then we'll move.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. Yeah, I would just like to say I'm very much inspired by the line that the best leader value their words and use them sparingly. It means they walk the talk, whereby maybe if we have the vision, they make sure that they translate vision into reality. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you. Okay, Brenda, go ahead. I can barely hear you, Brenda. It's breaking.
Oh my God.
You know what, Brenda? You can use the chat box if it's not coming through. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna move forward to. Patrick, I'm gonna answer your question, especially that question 8. I'm answering it next. But it's good you're asking all of these questions. Like I said, if by the end of our session on strategic planning, I have not answered any of those questions, just let me know. So we're going to move on to the next thing. And this is basically going to lead us into talking about strategic planning. And this is just a chart to help you see the full spectrum of how to lead change and what we expect you to have to do. Now, there was a rule I suggested a rule before many of you joined today, and that rule is that try to detach yourself from your current solutions. I know they are good and you're passionate about them, but trust me on this journey and forget about everything you're doing. In fact, as you go through all of the courses on Impact Toolbox and everything I'm going to be teaching you live, try as much as possible to forget about what you're doing right now. As we go on, all I need you to do is to hold on to the need or the problem you've identified and journey with me on how to create a solution for it. But even today, in the beginning today, I want to tell you to also forget about the problem that you're trying to solve. Try as much as possible to forget about it or use this opportunity to rethink the need. A lot of people are not solving the real problem. They just think, oh, I'm solving the problem, but you're cutting the grass, you're cutting the grass on the head instead of uprooting the entire thing. So I want you to forget about everything as much as you can and journey with me. Now, so to lead change within any community, you need to follow this process. And that the very first one is you first establishing what the problem is or what is the need. Why is the need important? And you must be able to advocate for it. It means that you must know what the problem is. You must know why the problem exists, and you must know why should the problem be solved right now. I usually say that the problem that is worth solving must be significant. In fact, because of the way the world is shaped and because of the way the world is right now, a problem that is worth solving must be a problem that has a local relevance and international significance. If you're solving a problem that does not have a local relevance, then you're doing nothing. You will not get support or enough support if your problem or the problem or the need you're addressing does not have an international significance. So it is very, very important that you think deeply about the problem and ensure that it has a local relevance, which means that you are solving real problems for real people that are truly in need. And the problem resonates with people outside of your community as well. So the first step of this process is you establishing a need. The second step is you building a team of stakeholders. And this second step is very important. And it is important that you go in this order because a lot of leaders, we always think that, oh, when I find the problem, then I create a vision and a plan. No, the second step is the next step, and which is what that session on leadership is meant to prepare your mind for. That you need to first rethink the problem with the people, and then you can now co-create a vision and implementation plan alongside with them. So as we go with this journey together, you will need to be interacting with your teams and you will need to be interacting with the people that you're serving. You need to build serious stakeholder engagement. Everybody that goes through this process and tries to apply all their minds to it, they always realize that they find something new. So today, before I let you go, we'll rethink and talk about the needs that you're meeting. And throughout the rest of the week, I would like you to do some stakeholder engagements. Look for people within your community, look for people within this fellows community, and ask questions. Try to find people that are doing other things or people that are working where you are, working in the space where you're working, and try as much as possible to interact with them, to know what they are doing, to know what the industry is like, to know what gaps you might not have seen in your own need assessment. The third one is develop a vision and plan. And then when that is done, you go ahead and make the change happen. And the one that is very important is you embed that change. Embedding change means that you institutionalize the change, you create structures for it, and you find a way to embed it into the society. Let people adopt it, let the government be part of it, let other stakeholders be a part of that work. And then you monitor every time and you refresh, you rethink that need again, and then you start all over again. So you might have been running a successful organization already. This is an opportunity to refresh and rethink the needs that you're meeting. I'm gonna now I'm gonna share this slide to you, so with you rather, so you don't necessarily have to write anything or keep anything. Um, in building stakeholders, one area is very important, and I would spend a lot of time talking about it, and that is what is called adaptive leadership, like Patrick asked in the chat. So the idea of adaptive leadership is that it's for you to be able to navigate engaging with people, especially the stakeholders, and knowing the best way to bring them on board to work with you. And that will require a lot of emotional intelligence. I'll talk about it in subsequent slides. This is another, just very similar to the previous one. And it's saying the same thing, but with different words. It's saying that you first establish the need and the sense of urgency, you form a powerful coalition, then you create the vision, you communicate and communicate and communicate. Now, I want to go back to that idea of adaptive leadership, and 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 I will start you up on the second step, then we'll go back to the needs in the next slide. Now, it's important that you understand the people that you're working with or the people you're trying to serve, and people that would support you. Those are your stakeholders, the people you're trying to serve, the people that you're working with, and the people that will support you. So it is important that you do those three P's as you begin to talk to people. The first thing is that you understand the truth of the people that you're trying to serve. What is their truth? What gets them off the couch? Why is it that they will want to journey with me in solving this problem for them? What is true about them? What is very, very, very true about them? I would give you an example. In 2008, when I first conceived the idea of starting Zozo Networks, the inspiration originally came from um, there are these children, they are from Niger Republic, and they used to beg for money in front of my university, University of Ibadan. And they will hold your hands as you cross the road, and they will follow you anywhere you go till you give them something. They are very abusive and they harass you till you give them money. So every time I'm going to school and this happens, I've always thought of the fact that someone should do something about these children. Why can't someone maybe create a center that would teach them about how to make money, or maybe find a way of putting them back to school and all of those kind of thoughts? So one day I decided to start an organization that would help these children. And I went to them on the street and I was like, hey, I'm organizing a lesson. Will you come? I'm just to teach you how to read, how to do math. Children were looking at me like, what's wrong with this dude? So I started digging in. I met their mothers, and their mothers were like, no, that's impossible. That I need to talk to the fathers, that I need to come to where they live. So I went to the abandoned house where they all live during the day, and I saw the fathers just laying down and not doing anything. So apparently the fathers send the mothers and children out to go and beg. And those children are like their tools for making money. If I teach those children English and math and I send them to school, the fathers won't be able to make money anymore. So there was that there is their truth. So the fathers are the problem, and because they make more money from begging than doing something productive, they would not ever want to allow those children to learn a trade or go to school or go to school. So that was the truth. And that complicated the whole thing for me, because how do I convince these fathers that they can they should allow their children to go to school and they will be better for it? That is the problem. So you have to dig to that level where you understand the entire truth of the problem you're trying to solve. It is very important. When you understand the truth, the next thing that you're going to do is to build trust. And that trust does not come easy. It takes you showing up and showing up again, even when you're being rejected, showing up and showing up again, even when there is no traction. So a lot of you that are building businesses and you're building organizations and you feel like, oh, I'm trying to help them. Why are they not getting the fact that I'm trying to help them? Why are they not coming? You organized an event to help people, and two people showed up when you're thinking 100 people will show up, and you're angry like, what is the problem? Why are they not showing up? I'm trying to help them here. Yeah, you are. But the truth is that you need to build trust, and that trust comes over time. You have to keep showing up and showing up within that community, showing up with more value and value, then people would believe and trust you, and then they will be a part of what you're doing. Getting buy-in is a function of trust, and you build that trust by continuous action. Now, it may take you 5 years to build trust if you don't show up enough and you don't keep trying new strategies or different approaches to win their trust. So the faster you do that, the better. The third T is about tribe. You see, people operate in tribe, and people buy in tribes. People subscribe to things in tribes because at the point of purchase, the answer people usually the question or the question people ask and the answer that they seek at the point of purchase is this: people like me do what? When you're about to buy anything or do anything, that's usually the question that crosses your mind, or be a part of anything. People like me do what? Do people like me? I don't apply for some programs because people like me don't apply for those programs. I can't go and apply for, I'm sorry to say though, but of course, maybe you guys will understand. I can't go and apply for YALI West Africa right now because people like me don't apply for YALI West Africa. I'll most likely be selected and I'll be taking the space of someone that needs the program more. So people like me do what? I remembered I was using an Android phone. In fact, it was a techno phone. This was back some many years back. And I went for a meeting to consult for an organization on Lagos Island. And when I got there, everybody that was in that organization that was sitting at the table, about 10 of them, everybody had an iPhone. And I was the only one that had this ridiculous techno phone. I could not even put my phone on the table because, not because I have low self-esteem, but because it just felt wrong to put my phone on the table with all of those awesome looking phones. And it was at that moment that that tribal thing got at me, that it actually, now I use Apple devices for everything. And 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 I think that tribe might have affected my thinking because when I wanted to get another phone after then, the question was, people like me do what? All my clients, all the people I speak with day to day, they all use iPhone. So because of that, I should use iPhone. So, and this is the crux and the idea behind influencer marketing. The people use influencers because followers want to be like them. So you have to understand the tribe that you're dealing with, and you have to understand the influential people in that tribe. And by talking and meeting with those influential people, you will be able to get things through to the tribe. And how to go viral, and how to get more people to trust you and to be a part of what you're doing is about understanding the tribes that you're dealing with, and marketing to the key influencers, or getting the key influencers to be on your board or to join your team or to adopt your intervention in the first place. So that is about tribe. Now, the other side of it is the principles and the things that you need to be able to navigate all of these things I've been talking about. And these are the key things that you need for adaptive leadership. So in adaptive leadership, if you're looking to, let me use the word exploit and navigate the loopholes that are available in how people make decisions. You are trying to adapt and tailor your leadership to the people that you're serving or the people you're engaging with. And it is important that you understand these three things about them to be able to do so. You have to understand their possible losses or their potential losses. That by people joining forces with you or by people joining your team, they would be losing something. They will be losing something. There is always something for them to lose by associating with you. I may not want to associate with you because I feel what you're doing is not very important, or maybe the level at which you're doing what you're doing is not significant enough for me. Then I don't want to invest with you. Or I feel maybe your level of branding and packaging does not represent the does not that will make me become a laughing stock in the front of my friends. then I don't want to associate with you because of your branding. So if you understand what do people, the people I'm trying to serve, what do they have the potential of losing by coming to work with me, then you will be able to create the right incentives for them to come. You'll be able to brand, you'll be able to do whatever you need to do to tailor their to tailor your solution to their needs. I remember when we first started our dental clinic, and we, my co-founder and I sat down one day and we're like, why don't people want to go to a dental clinic? One, because they associate dentistry with pain. Two, they think it's very expensive. And three, people think they don't need it. So those are like three losses. People think it's waste of time. Two, they think of pain. And four, they think it's a lot of money. So our dental practice was built on trying to make people um, solve those three possible losses for people. So we try to set up very fine looking dental clinic that does not look horrible and does not signify pain from outside. And we use state of the art equipment that reduces pain. And we we have a chair that massages and all of those things. So you are like very comfortable, and you're not thinking about pain as you go through our treatment with us. And we have promotional activities that makes um, that reduces the cost of treatment significantly for people. So you have to, and that we built it into our organizational strategy and our business plan. So as you're building all of this business plan, you're building these incentives into it. I'll give you another example so that this idea of possible losses might be clearer. If you're into advocacy and you're trying to advocate for one thing or the other from the government, let's say you want them to fix the road that leads to your house, and the government is saying no. They are not saying no to you usually because they don't think that it is a serious need that the road to your house is bad. But usually people try to avoid precedents, and there might be a possible loss in that scenario. And that possible loss might be the fact that if they fix your road, they will have to fix the road of all the other neighboring communities. So, and they don't have enough budget to fix all of the road. So they will ignore your request because of that, because there is a possible loss. And that possible loss is the fact that they will have to start, if they do your road, they have to do for other people, and they don't have the budget for that. So if you understand that oh, government as my stakeholder has this potential loss, then how can I solve the problem for them? Should I tell them that, oh, I have 80% of the money, so bring it? So any other person that wants you to fix their road for them should also go and find 80% or 90% of the money. Or if you do this road for us, we are not going to say the government did it for us. We are going to say another person did it for us. That way, people don't come back to you to ask for more or for their own too. So you have to sort of wrap all of that in your proposal as you advocate, so that the government also finds an incentive to want to work with you. So don't ever think people owe you. Nobody owes you, not even your volunteers, not anybody. They are not, they are not, they are not, they are not owing you anything, and there is no obligation for anybody to owe you, to help you. You have to create the right incentives for them. I don't believe in just volunteering. So if you come to volunteer with us, I always say that we give to the people that volunteer with us more than they give to us. And by being a part of us, there is already enough incentive. So I don't have to bother myself about thinking about the fact that are you getting value out of it or not. We try to create that value for you to first entice you to come and to keep you. So that is the second stage. You have to understand people's values. What is valuable to them? What are their values? And you have to consider that as you develop your product. So this is the assignment that you'll be taking home for the next 1 week. Really going back to your communities and sitting down with them to understand their values, to understand their the things that they might be losing and what is valuable to them. The third one is loyalty. And this is very important, especially in a tribal scene. Um, lo- People are always loyal to someone, and you can get people to do things by understanding this idea of loyalty. You can always exploit people's loyalty to get them to be a part of your project. So, for instance, when I want to invite someone to come and speak for an event, I look and I don't have a direct relationship with them. I look for someone that they are loyal to, that I know. Then I will speak with that person, and the person will speak to them. Like, submitted a proposal to a state government recently, and I had to look for someone that lives outside of that country, that knows someone in that country that is a parliamentarian, to help me to submit the proposal. So that is part of the things that you must begin to think about. People have people that they are loyal to, government officials, investors, everybody have people that they are loyal to. So your ability to adaptively navigate your proposal instead of going straight to submit a proposal somewhere or to present an intervention somewhere, why don't you first go and present it to the people they are loyal to? Then those people can now help you to present it to the people. So this is the concept of adaptive leadership, and that is how to navigate stakeholders. So you need to understand their truths, you need to build trust, you need to understand the tribe and the key influencers, and you need to understand possible losses. You need to understand the people they are loyal to, and go and meet those people first, and you have to understand their value. So I will stop here for now, and we can have another chit chat, questions and answer. Then we can any questions before we go to the last phase of today, then we'll go home. Leaders should listen to their team and often have conversations in order to build organizational goals together. Exactly, Brenda. And that is one of the things I will be encouraging you to do as you go through this phase of strategic planning. What is the best method to understand people's value, observation, or discussion? Patrick, you need to do both. You need to both observe them and you need to also go and meet them and discuss with them. That is how you know their values. Any questions so far? Okay, so now we are getting to, or perhaps I'm going to start this. I'm going to stop here. It's convenient for us to stop here on organizational, so that I don't keep you for so long on leadership and organizational management. I'm happy to answer questions after now, but before then, I'm going to give you an assignment that you're going to turn in next week, and it's going to be this. I need you to go back and think about the problem that you're solving very, very, very well. And you are going to come up with an answer to all of these questions. What is the problem? Who is affected by this problem? Where are these people and organizations or the people that you're trying to solve the problem for? When does it affect them? What are the evidences supporting your claim? We need you to get reputable sources and quote them. I usually say one global and one local source would be good. And what are the consequences of this problem? So I need you to answer all of these questions for us to start our strategic planning phase. But these questions are like very important. So I want you to answer all of these questions and create a one paragraph problem statement from all of your answers. And like I said, I want you to forget about all that you've been doing before and all that you think you know. I want you to try and look for the real problem. Now, the absence of your solution is not a problem. And a lot of people make that mistake a lot. Oh, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? I'm trying to solve lack of availability of computers in secondary school. No. Or lack of good teachers. No, that is not the problem. That is the lack of your solution or what you think the problem is. Problems are usually a lot deeper than than just mere lack. So it might be sometimes you might think, oh, the problem is because they lack this thing. But the problem might actually be that there is no funding to buy those things. And if there is funding for them to buy those things, they would definitely have it. The problem may not be that students are failing. The problem might be that teachers are not good teachers. The problem might be that students are not, the curriculum has a problem. The problem might be literally just anything. So you need to like think deeply as to understand what the problem is. I'll send this one on WhatsApp definitely. So try as much as possible to think deeply. So I don't want to hear lack of. No, the problem is deeper than lack. The problem is what the people experience. That is the problem. The problem is what the people experience. What the problem is from the people's angle. People can't afford to get a job because they lack employability skills. But the problem there is unemployment, the fact that they cannot get a job. So then lack of employable lack of employability skills is just one of the ways or one of the reasons for them not to be able to get a job. There is a different type of job for everyone, and if they can't get employed as a doctor, they can get employed as a they can get employed as a plumber. So it is not an absolute lack of skills that is the problem, but a problem with the fact that perhaps there is no jobs for their skill level, and jobs with higher skill levels that they are trying to get, they don't particularly qualify for it. So I just wanted to think through the lacuna and in great depth of the problem that you're addressing. Try as much as possible to come up with evidences that support your claim. So look at it from the people's perspective. What what do the people say their problem is, and what can you see from their experience that the problem is? People also sometimes will tell you, I'm having this problem because I don't have access to this, which is usually a lie. You realize that when they have access, they may also not even use that access very well. So you just need to think deep of what is the real problem. And that is what I would like you to come up with next week. I'm going to discuss with Tammy and see if we can meet again on next week Saturday for an hour. Then all of you would be presenting your problem statements. Basically, the problem statements, each of you will read it, and then you'll get peer feedback from all of us. Or we can also do it on your WhatsApp group. When you create your problem statement, you can post it on the WhatsApp group. Then you can get feedbacks from everybody, especially the older fellows that have done this before. I think we spent like almost 2 weeks figuring out needs and problems with them, but we may not have that much time with you guys. So what I would like you to do is to use all of the things I've taught you today to go back to your communities and go and find what the real problem is. Talk to people, ask them for uh, understand the full spectrum of the problem that they are facing, and know what that where that problem started from, and where that problem is now, and what that problem is causing them. Understand everything, and then create a one paragraph problem statement. You can post it on WhatsApp group. If you guys decide that you want to do it in person so that each person can read it, then we can give feedbacks immediately. That would be good. But I think it's something we can do on WhatsApp um, during the week. Then I'll probably do pre-recording for all the other sessions of strategic planning so that we can spend our live sessions doing more interactions than me doing all the talking. So I'm going to stop here today, and I'm going to post that assignment. Any questions?
Sorry. So that means, yes, we have already an idea, and so we have to forget what we do and think more on this question you will send it to us.
Yes,
Is this what you mean?
that's actually the way it works. So for a moment, forget about everything. I know you already have, this is the need I'm trying to solve, or this is the problem I'm trying to solve. Forget about everything just for now, and then do as if you're starting all over again. Then go and talk to the people that you're serving, the people you work with, all from afresh with a clear mind. Engage with all of these communities using all of the things I've explained, especially paying attention to their truths, their potential losses, their values and loyalties, and then find out what the problem truly is. Then when you do that, you will now do a research to find credible sources, one local to support your claim as an evidence, and one global one. Because I said real problems are local in nature, in the sense that they have local relevance and international significance. Samson.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. My question is actually not directly related to this, but I just
No,
want
that's
to
fine.
ask.
Yeah.
I want to ask about the fellowship generally.
Yes.
The assignments that we are supposed to do, are we supposed to actually send it in through that through the Impact Toolbox platform, then wait before we proceed to the next session, or we can just proceed to the next session, then send in the assignment when we have it ready? Because,
Yes.
like for example, now for that of competition mapping, also there was a need for us to create an Excel file, and I couldn't do it at the instant. So that's one. Then during the youth in development, the boot camp, we did some of those things. So I don't know if we necessarily have to take some of those courses again. Then aside that, another thing that I want to ask is scheduling of the interactive session with our coaches. With what you are taking us through now, I expect that there could actually be some changes. So I don't know how it will work so that whatever effort or whatever it is that we discuss with those coaches will not change when we go through the process of this training and all. I don't know if there will be major shifts in what we are doing by the time we go through the whole process. Thank you.
So I'll start with the last one. Those are very good questions. So someone asked someone talked about having difficulty navigating some parts of business plan because she runs a nonprofit, and it looks voided. Some parts are like just kind of hard for her to figure out. So we expect that would be happening, and we want you to embrace that process. A lot of things will change, and that's why I'm like, you know what? Forget about your solution. Just go through this process and apply yourself and see what you come up with eventually. You just have to trust the process. So a lot of things would change, and the coaches that you're dealing with, they understand that you are in the middle of a transformation process and you're rethinking everything you're doing. So they understand the curriculum and they are there to sort of help you through. How to best use the coaches is to also use them to soundboard some of the things you're thinking about and help and ask them to help you clarify your area of some areas of confusion. So if you're thinking about, I've been speaking with all of these. I've been speaking with all of these people, and I'm not getting results. How do I go about it? Like, just ask them real questions and use them for the present moment of what you're trying to do at the moment. I don't know how to better pass that across. Use them for your current situation, because there'll always be time for you to go back to them as you go through different stages. So just feel free to ask them to help you solve the problems you might be having right now. Concerning your second question, when you well, let me go to the first one. When you post on Impact Toolbox, when you submit assignments, we we don't grade immediately because the coaches need to go through and then provide feedbacks. For some of you that have submitted, you will have seen some comments made on what you've submitted. So it's not a typical online course that you just submit and peers just look at, or you don't, or you just get a mark. We see everything as you submit as a building block, and we want to give you feedback concerning each of those submissions. So feel free to submit them when you can. You have the course duration to submit. So if you start a course, let's say a course is three weeks, when you start your first assignment, you have 3 weeks to submit the assignment. So you can submit all your assignments at once. You can perhaps go through the entire course, write out all the assignments and go and work on it. Then you submit it, but you have to submit it within that 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 5 weeks that course is which is the duration of that course. So that's just the idea. You must submit, and you will see it the moment you start the assignment. It will tell you how long you have left. So you can open the assignment, see how long you have left, and then go to the next video or courses and watch, see how much time you have left, then come back and do all the assignments at once if that's your style. So, but you have that varying duration for submission, and it's usually 2 or 3 weeks. Last year, assignments are like 1 week, 1 week. We ask people to submit their business plan, their business model, their theory of change. Like, there were assignments week in, week out, and we realized that while that kind of helped build a sort of a momentum and tension, it also did not give people enough time to engage with their teams, engage with their communities, and really think deeply about their work. So we are giving you that space um, to be able to really flex and do things. And some of you are doing so well already. I know at least 3 or 4 people here that have completed the course on social entrepreneurship already. So basically just enjoy the ride. And for all my session with you, especially through this strategic planning, all my assignments are live or through WhatsApp, so you necessarily don't have to submit anything. And I want to say for everything, if you've not had the time to go through the privacy policy or an impact toolbox, your assignments are deleted after 3 weeks, and only our coaches have access to your ideas or whatever you're submitting. So nobody else have access to it. Um, Previously, we used to do peer-to-peer assessments, but we stopped doing that because from our grant writing experience, we realized that there are some people that are enrolled for the course just to steal people's ideas. So now only our coaches have access to give you feedbacks, and and if you have any general question, you can go ahead and ask on the WhatsApp group. So your idea, the documents are deleted, I think after 3 to 4 weeks or so. So we would give you the suggestions, but they are automatically deleted from our platform, and only coaches and a few of our team members have access to your information. The Have I answered all of your questions? Something. I think I'm done with all of your questions, right?
Yes, you have, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other question? Okay. So if there are no other questions, um, I would say enjoy the rest of your evening. Andrew asked about the first speech. Tammy will let us know that on the group, and I'm going to post a video of a practice session that we had when we first started thinking about Impact Toolbox. I think I put it on YouTube for the last set of fellows. So I'm going to look for that link and put it on the WhatsApp group for you so that you will know what is expected of you from your first speech, and you can begin to think about that as well. You will need very good PowerPoint presentations, and you will need a full pitch. Now, now you you don't necessarily have to have everything figured out before the first speech. The idea of the first speech is to try and do the pitch based on your current level of thinking. So just do the pitch based on your current level of thinking and where you are right now. All of those things will evolve and change over time, but the first speech should be about the level of thinking that you have right now. Leave things the way you have. If you've taken some of these courses and the sessions and they're already changing your thinking, include them in your first speech. And it's okay if your pitch changes or your iteration changes in the second pitch or the third pitch. It's all expected because the journey is transformational and we expect things to change. So I'm looking for your question, Patrick. I can't find it. I began to consider that. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it often feels that way, that people don't know what their problems are. But the truth of the matter is that you can't solve a problem for someone that does not know it's a problem. So, so it it might take a bit of education into it, and that itself is the problem. Like, I don't know how to explain that. The fact that people don't know that their problem is a problem itself. So this is a good example. My friend Kachi started Postpartum Support Africa, PSN Africa, and I remember when Kachi started, people did not know postpartum depression is a problem. And when he goes out and tell people, PPD, 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 people were like, especially husbands, were like, what's PPD? That is why your wife is cranky after she gives birth. That is why she does not want to talk to you after she gives birth. That is why she's like not in a happy mood when after she gives birth. People did not know that. So, and that was the problem he first identified, and he created a solution for that, and that was included in their strategic plan. So the fact that people did not know they have a problem, it means that that is a problem itself, and you have to find a solution to that, and that might be creating awareness and educating them. So PSN Africa started by educating people about postpartum depression, which was where their strategic plan started from. Then, when they were successful in educating health practitioners, husbands, women about PPD, they now scaled up to more interventions like counseling and treating people with PPD. You understand? That's a strategic plan right there. So strategic planning is about how do you solve the easiest, straightforward question, need that you can see in front of you right now. Or strategic planning is about prioritizing the needs you want to solve and connecting the dots forward. Basically to say, I want to solve problem of postpartum depression. I want to treat people with postpartum depression, but people don't know what postpartum depression is. So I'm going to start by first educating them. That's a strategy. That's a strategic plan right there. Then when we are able to get enough people to know about strategy, about postpartum depression, then I'm going to start by now telling them that there is a treatment. Then we can introduce the treatment. The adoption of your product or service will be slow if people are not well educated about its importance, if they don't see it as a problem. You need to find a way to first convince them that it is a problem, and that is where education comes in. And the same thing you will see about mental health things that has now gone viral. A lot of organizations that work in the mental health space started with advocacy, started with education and creating awareness as their main strategy. For other people, strategic thinking can be a lot different from that. Like for an organization like Zozo Networks, people know that leadership is important. People know that having a sense of entrepreneurship is important. But because when we started, nobody wanted to talk about that. It wasn't something important, and people probably had other priorities. We needed to first do proof of concept, and that's why we created our SAFE project. So we went to secondary schools where we know that the Kukuma don't have anything like that before. And we started our curriculums with secondary school students and started teaching them. And that went viral. And then older people started inviting us, say, oh, this thing that you do with teenagers, can you do it with adults too? And even the work in secondary school is still ongoing. And in our own strategic plan, advocacy is now coming towards it's coming later, not before, as you may have it in PSN's case. Now we've trained students and we know that they perform better when you give them leadership and entrepreneurship training. They're able to get even admissions faster. When they get to schools, they're able to start their own business. We've watched cohorts of our Safe Academy graduates go on to do amazing things in university and after they finish university. So we know that it worked. So the next step of our work now is to embark on evidence-based advocacy to begin to talk with governments and educational systems to include LED in normal day-to-day school curriculum, which is leadership, entrepreneurship, and digital literacy in schools curriculum, in secondary schools curriculum across Nigeria. So that is now where our strategic plan is leading. But you see, so it's not a one size fits all for everybody. So your own might have to start from that advocacy and education and then go to real intervention. So I hope that answers your question, you and Esther. Did I answer your question, Patrick and Esther? And are there any other questions? Hello. Okay, cool. Cool. Any other question? Okay, so another thing was that the pictures that you guys sent in, the team is not so satisfied with some of the pictures because of the quality. So if you have better pictures, you can send to them. But I have another plan in mind, and thank you for sending in those pictures. At the end of the fellowship, to it will help us to be able to know before and after, and where you started from and where you will be at the end of the fellowship. So use this opportunity to try new things, and use the opportunity to really try to immerse yourself in in this process. It may not pay up in the next 3 months, or you will start seeing the results anyway. You'll start seeing those changes within you as you go through this process. But give it 1 year or 2 years down the line, you will be one of the people that are popular in the development space, and people are like, oh, I want to be like that person. And I've seen that result several times in some of the people that I've worked with, and some of our alumni. So I am assuring you to trust me on this. I've done it before again and again and again, and I can do it. Just trust me. And I can send you a bunch of organizations, some of the popular ones that you even know that have gone through this process with me, and they are doing amazing right now. So enjoy the process, and this is to encourage you to immerse yourself in this experience, and you'll be better for it. So Patrick, for those questions that I've not answered, I'm going to still answer them as we go on together. So don't worry. The reason why I didn't answer them is that they are already questions that would naturally be answered as part of your curriculum. So any other questions for me, or any other comments, any other thing you need to talk about? I have 6 more minutes for my next meeting. So if there is none, then I would say good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, and we'll see. Oh, Esther, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm actually trying to type because it's noisy here, but I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, sir. So you mentioned that our volunteers do not really owe us anything, and if they're volunteering for us, we should always find a way how to pay them back. Though it may not be in cash, but then we should always find a way to pay them for their time. Now, as a starter, like maybe the project is not even funded and just needed some volunteers to come around to as support, and you do not have the ability at that time, to give them anything like funding or whatever to pay them for their time at that time. I don't know, what can we do in such situation?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. So I will use my own personal experience to explain. So everything starts from structure and how you decide to structure your organization and idea. And Abdulatif will also benefit from this answer. So thank God he joined us, because he asked me a couple of questions like that before. So it all starts from structure. And I did not learn this in the beginning. I did not learn this on day one. It was out of working and failing with people that I realized that for you to keep people, you have to create incentives for them. And you don't, I won't even encourage you to give money, because the moment you start giving money, there will be a problem. For every time Zozo networks have tried to convert a volunteer to an employed staff, there has been a disaster, because from our findings, we realized that by giving them money does not increase their passion, and it does not also increase what they can do. It's weird, but realize that the same passion that they had as volunteer is the same passion that they had as employee, and employing them and asking them to do more became very hard, because that transition was not something they probably had envisaged and all. And only very few, only maybe two have survived that process. So it is not about money. It's about understanding people's values. Like, and that's why that my page on adaptive leadership is very important. The moment you understand what they value and what they are looking for, then it is easier for you to be able to create value for them. So at Zozo Networks, for instance, we don't give money, but this is what we do. So when you are coming in as a volunteer, we take you through all this process and we let you know exactly what we are offering you. So we treat volunteering as a program or intervention in itself, and we'll let you know that by volunteering with us, you will be getting all of this. We would you will get access to our trainings, you will get access to our mentorship programs. We'll give you a certificate of volunteering when you're done. We'll write reference letters for you when you're done. And our volunteering appointment letter looks like you're getting a job. So it's a tenable work experience wherever you go to, because we would list, I don't know how they do it now, but when I was still very involved with volunteering things, we would put the amount that you're getting. So we say volunteers get about 500 naira a per hour. So for every hour of volunteering that you do, you're entitled to 500 naira. Now, we are not giving you that 500 naira. We are seeing it as you donating to us. So you're donating 500 naira. You're donating 500 naira worth of service to us every hour. So at the end of the year, you are expected to have contributed a minimum of about $150,000 to the organization a year. And we treat that as donation from you to us. And you get a letter that tells you that that kind of writes out that contract that you actually you could, when we write your reference letter, it's something that you could take and take it as a paid employment if your employers are looking for paid employment. And that has worked for a lot of our volunteers. So you you need to find, and that came out of sitting down with people and saying, why won't you take volunteering seriously? Oh, because they are not paying you. So what if we create a pseudo payment arrangement where, well, we are meant to be paying you, but you're donating this money to us. But you can always use this work experience to get a better job. So that's why when you check LinkedIn and you check some of our volunteers and people that have been with us, you see people work with Zozo Network for 4 years, then they are working at UNDP, work for Zozo Network at 4 years, and they are working as M&E officer for one top organization or the other, program officer at ACL, program officer at here. Like we have all of our volunteers everywhere like that. And an additional incentive that I personally am committed to is to talk to all my friends and ask them, whenever you want to employ, we are the right source of people for you to come to and get people, because we've trained them for you. So our incentive basically is training and training and training, global exposure, organizing all of these mentorship programs for them to attend. So the program you guys attended yesterday with K is is was designed originally for our volunteers. So we do that kind of training for them every month. And the third incentive is this. We don't expect people to volunteer for us for the rest of their life. So we tell them that we are signing a 1-year renewable volunteering agreement with you. And and throughout this process, we would like to know what you would like to achieve. So do you want to get a job, or you want to start a business or your own initiative? So our volunteer guys try to do some kind of tailored opportunity sharing for them, and we do some kind of training around around that. And we don't spend money on any of those trainings. We don't even give volunteers transport. I remember Temi, the program manager, when Temi first joined us, Temi had an issue with our financial officer because they were going to do a field work, and Temi was like, we need to give people, I think, 750 naira to eat lunch. And financial was like, we've never done that. People just eat lunch when they use their money to eat lunch, or they just get themselves there. And that's because the incentive is quite compelling, because they are getting this certificate, they are getting this letter of recommendation, they are getting this exposure that helps them to that helps them to become better people. So we try to establish that fact from the beginning. Money don't work. All those things about giving them food and transportation does not work. It's about looking for their mumu button. And naturally, the kind of volunteers I think we attract are people either hoping to start their own organizations one day, or get a job in the development space. And that is the incentive we offer them. You can leverage our network to be able to do what you want to do. Also, another idea, another one that is an internal gist, but I'm happy to share it here, is our success or our impact over the past 6 years as an organization, based on the power of narration, is your impact if you join us today. And what that means is, I've seen Zozo Networks volunteers that are, especially those that have that are managing a particular project or a particular work. Let's say you're volunteering as a monitoring and evaluation officer, or you're volunteering as an assistant financial officer. You can easily use the power of narration to say, I volunteer at the Zozo Networks as a monitoring and evaluation officer, or as an assistant financial officer, and I have as this, and or you or I n- or you can say something like, I'm trying to read from my head how there was someone's application I read recently, and it was really well put. The person wrote, I'm a volunteer at Zozo Networks, an organization that has done this, done this, done this, done that, done this. As a financial something, I help do this throughout for the organization. Or I work as a financial officer for Zozo Networks, and I help manage the finances of programs that have reached over 13,500 youths across Africa, and does this, does. With that power of narration, Kayode knows how to do it very well. When you see the way Kayode writes his application, especially the Zozo parts, he has a way of mixing those words together that will definitely compel anybody. So that network, and that's our impact is your impact thing, is one of our biggest selling points. And we try to also try not to be a part of any conspiracy, and make sure that the organization is very credible. So when you submit your CV and you say you are from Zozo Networks, people that work in the development space would recognize you and say, oh, for you to have volunteered with this organization, then at least we know you have been exposed to different development practitioners. You've been trained because we know the kind of program Shegun organizes, and we expect some things from you. We expect a bit of standard from you. And that's basically our selling point. So try to it might take you to start working with your volunteers on a one-on-one basis to understand what their expectations are, and helping them to understand that they've not come to serve you, but they've come to serve themselves as well. By contributing to the progress of your organization means that you can all share the impact. And the last thing I would say is that give clear designation to people that are not particularly encouraged and poised to work as those networks are people that do not have clear designation. So though they might be volunteering, let them know that this is your role, this is your designation, so that they can put it on their LinkedIn or on their CV that this is who they are, this is what they are doing for the organization. So you have to think about what roles you need to fill for your organization and the kind of people that you need to fill those roles. Those are the people you will get as volunteers, and your incentives for them would be tight. I can only talk based on the kind of organizations that I run, but I think if you think deeply within your value chain, there will always be something that you can use to encourage them. But I can tell you from my experience, money does not work. It just doesn't work. I have 4 volunteers across the US and Canada now for Impact Toolbox, and I don't pay them anything. And those guys are like experts. They are good at what they do, and I realized that by just giving them clear designation and them being able to flaunt the name is just enough for them. So try as much as possible to sit down with your guys and know what value you can add to them. It's just that process of that truth, trust, tribe will land you a lot of volunteers. So we understand our tribe. Our tribe of volunteers are people that are on opportunity desk every day, looking for opportunities, trying to find grants to grow their idea, or looking for knowledge on how to grow their idea. So if we can bring them on board and help them to do that while they work for us, is that's our market. Also, we try not to overkill people. Also, we give people little bit of work that we know that they can easily do, and then we allow them to do it instead of like basically someone's role is just to check when your assignments are submitted, and that is what the person is volunteering for. So just check when the assignments are submitted and notify the coaches to grade it. That is all the person is doing. So you can look for people to do little things that won't take their time, little things that they can do after work, and you won't overkill one person with a lot of responsibilities, because always know that if it feels like a paid job, then why can't you? They will start asking you to pay them, or they will start thinking, why didn't they just go and get a job in the first place? So try and break the work down into tiny bits that they can easily work on, and then you will see better results. I hope I answered your question. Any other question? Any other concerns, questions, general thoughts or questions? Anything? How can I help you? We'll still get to talk more about team management and volunteering towards the end, anyways. Abdulatif.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, thanks for everything you've said, and it has enriching my knowledge on team management. But I have a question. We have a group of volunteers that we are very enthusiastic about what we do. We are very passionate about it. We really want to contribute and the likes. But unfortunately, due to lack of internal coordination between our team, we have not been able to utilize them for about two months and some days right now. So how can we reignite their passion now that they are quite their passion is quite down? What can we do to reignite their passion and make them to feel more enthusiastic as they felt at the beginning, and for them to do what the passion they had? How can we bring it back to life?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So this happens, and not because um your organization is new or something. We've been running the network for like 6 years, and this still happens. But a good example is our communications team. We had to let our communication officer go sometime early this year, and we've not been able to employ someone since then. Okay, we just recently got two people that resumed, I think last week or so. But anyways, so we do not have a communications officer for quite some time, and the people who volunteer in the communications unit are they've been redundant. In fact, some of them even complained that we just left them. Nobody said anything to them. Everybody just stopped talking to them. They didn't know what was going on, and they will see some posts once in a while on our social media. They did not know who posts them and all. So basically, what we did that worked is to come clean and always try this vulnerability thing with your people. It always works. So I had a meeting with them and I came clean and I was like, guys, the problem is that we weren't getting the results we wanted from the person that was managing all of this before, and we had to let the person go. So we are looking for someone new, and we hope you will stay with us. And out of like 7 people in that unit, only 3 people understood the fact that there was an issue and they decided to stay. And the rest said they'll probably go to other units in the organizations or do other things. The people that would work for you and that are enthusiastic about the work, they will always be. Don't always be compelled to keep everybody. You don't have to keep everybody. Come to come clean. Tell them, oh, we had issues within us, and that's why we couldn't maximize you. But now we are ready. If you're still up for it, this is a re-engagement form. Please sign. So make things formal when you're coming back. Let them sign a re-engagement form, and and that would sort of make things look a bit formal and a bit more different and interesting. And then when you start all over again, you try not to mess it up this time. But if they are enthusiastic before, they will still be enthusiastic again if you make them understand why you went MIA and why you were not available for them. And make it formal by using that re-engagement form. So you will definitely know who wants to stay or who wants to go. But if there is anything that I would advise you about volunteer management, don't particularly hold on to people. There are plenty of people out there, and let people know they can go, and let people know that new people can come. And that's a structure. I remembered in the beginning days of the Zone Network, when volunteers leave, it used to be very painful because we started this structure of investing in people very early, and it was like, we've changed this person to this level, and this person now left. But over time, we built a structure around it, and that's why volunteering for us has become a program on itself. That, well, we are positioning ourselves that you will leave anyways, but while you are here, do this and that for us. So you'll always attract more people. Raise the bar, and the type of ants that you will attract will be different. So we attract professionals who know what they are doing, who also have a passion for the kind of work that we do, that and they want to build something, and they are able to help us get things done even more quickly. So you don't have to hold on to everybody. If you complain to them and they want to stay, then they would stay. But if they don't want to stay, then let them go. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And the last thing I will say today is, don't create structure or positions for people. Create people for position. And what that means is this: a lot of us, especially when we are starting, our organizations, we often want to just make use of the people that we can find, especially on our board and even on our volunteer, on our organizations team also. We just want to use people that we can find around us. So we make that mistake of creating positions for them based on their skills. I've made the mistake in the past also. So you have a friend that is very good at welfare, then you will, because you have that volunteer, the person is willing to volunteer, and the person, you don't have anything for the person to do. So you will now create a volunteer position, a welfare position within your organization when you do not have a need of it. Now, every organization should have a welfare committee or something like that. But if you don't have a need for it yet, why create it? Or because your friend is a technical person and is available for the short period of time to help you with your website and all of those things. And because of that, you're going to create a technical department. No, because what will happen is that that entire department will crumble the moment the person leaves. There are two types of volunteers and team members that will come to you. There are engagers and committers. Engagers are people that are bored, or they have a free time in their life at a moment, and they feel, maybe I should just volunteer for this period before I go to the university, or, oh, there is strike, so let me volunteer before, while there is holiday or strike, or let me just volunteer to gather some experience so that I'll get a better job. Those are engagers. There are committers that see what the work that you're doing as part of their life calling, and they are with you because they have attached a sense of purpose to the work that you're doing. Even those people, when they get employed and wherever they go, they are still committed to the work that you're doing because they've seen it as a part of their life purpose. Those are the kind of people that you want to give a tiny bit of long-term, long-standing responsibility to, so that when they walk away, you know that you can still always call on them. But don't try to create a position for someone because the person is available. Rather, develop a structure for your organization. Know what of the departments or units that your organization needs to survive and to do its work very well. Do like an throw it out. Then when you do that, you now begin to look for people to fill in those positions based on their skill sets. It is okay for you not to have people in those units, but you know that you have a need for them. So when you are announcing that you're looking for volunteers, you're not just saying, I'm looking for volunteers generally. Now you are very specific as to what units and what roles, what positions you need to fill, and that is what you're looking for. So when people apply for your volunteering role, you're interviewing them and you're looking at their application to see that they fit into the position that you have. If they don't fit, then you got to let them go. You don't need to waste your time bringing them in because they are available. Let them go. You keep looking for people until you can find people that can fit those positions for you as volunteers. Now, in some cases, you will see some very passionate people, some interesting people, and they are kind of enthusiastic about the work that you're doing. Those are the kind of people that you can build for the positions. So you can spend some time engaging them and helping them to develop their skills till they can grow into the available spots that you have. So you can tell them that this is the work that I have that I'm looking for someone for. And I think I can train you or I can help you subscribe to training to do the work better since you already have a sort of interest in that area. So build people for positions and don't build organizations around people or for people. It will crumble the moment they walk away. So I hope that's helpful. Any other question?
A lot, sir. A lot.
You're welcome. And I know all of these things I'm saying, they look like they are hard, but the moment you begin to put all of these structures in place, your life will become easier. Things will become very, very easy for you to do. And it's just going to take setting it up and closing your mind to stand by it. And that is how you set standards, and that is how you attract better and better hands. Always remember, the more you raise the bar, the higher and better the kind of talents that you will attract, and then the kind of support that you will get. So I think we'll call it a day here. And thank you for joining and for all of your questions. So we'll follow up on WhatsApp for the rest of our interactions. Goodbye for now. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, Dr. Segun.
Bye.
Bye bye.